Hey YouTube, thanks for stopping by. I'm Avian Flew, and today I have my first of hopefully many Destiny 2 build guides. This first one is for you Thundercrash Titans. This build synergizes the exotic auto rifle, the Monte Carlo, with the melee ability of the Subclass to give you crazy amounts of super energy. Pair that with the Cuirass of the Falling Star exotic chest piece, and you become the ultimate DPS missile. So here we've got the Cuirass of the Falling Star chest armor with the Monte Carlo auto rifle as your equipped exotics. We're going with the popular Arc subclass Code of the Missile. Let's look at the abilities and perks of that subclass. First we have the super, hurtle through the air like a missile and crash into enemies to inflict meteoric damage. Next, the melee. After sprinting, leap into the air and use to slam into the ground and damage nearby targets. So you need to sprint, then jump to activate it by pressing C. Next is Inertia Override. Picking up ammo during a slide reloads your equipped weapon and increases weapon damage for a short time, like a really short time. And then moving on to Impact Conversion, hitting enemies with Ballistic Slam grants super energy and activates Inertia Override. This is what we're going to focus on in this build. What makes it so good is that simply getting a hit returns super, and there are mods that increase the return that we'll talk about later. This clip shows that in action. Now let's talk about the Monte Carlo and why it synergizes so well with this build. As you can see, dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully recharge your melee ability with each kill. So again, simply dealing damage is recharging one of your abilities. In this case, it's the ability that helps us get our super back. This next clip shows the melee regeneration from hits with the weapon. Looking back at the weapon, it has good range, but the impact looks low on paper. However, the perk's Markov Chain gives it increased damage from melee or weapon kills, essentially making it swashbuckler, with the added benefit of giving ammo back for melee kills. Now let's get into the armor, which further helps us get our melee and ultimately our super up as quickly as possible. First, we'll look at the helmet with an arc affinity. That gives us access to the hands-on perk, which gives us super energy on melee kills. Now we not only get super energy back from hits, but also a good boost if we kill the targets. This mod stacks for a decent boost too. The first clip is the super return with no mods, then double hands-on mods in the second clip. Here's the return with no mods. It gives just above a half of a bar. And here is the return with double mods. It gives just under a full bar. And this time where I randomly almost got my full super back for some reason. It can be a tough call to give up an ammo finder perk for your special or heavy weapon, so you can decide if the single or double perk is worth it to you personally. In the fourth column you have some flexibility depending on your loadout. There are mods for Warmind Cell or Charged with Light builds that synergize, like the Strength of Rasputin mod, which gives melee energy each time you pick up a Warmind Cell, or Swift Charge, which gives you Charge of Lights for rapid kills with a pulse rifle, sidearm, or submachine gun. Moving on to gloves, again we have an Arc Affinity, which lets us use Momentum Transfer. This mod says, causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. Let's check that out in this next clip against a single target. The melee return is decent with one mod, but in in-game activities you want to go for mods to disrupt champions. In the fourth column I went with Elemental Ordnance, which drops an elemental well when you get a grenade kill. These wells recharge all abilities if they match your subclass, which in this case they do, but you can pair with other mods that I have previously mentioned. Now the star of the show, the Cuirass of the Falling Star exotic chest armor, which massively increases the damage of your Thundercrash super. You can go with whatever mods or affinity you choose for this build. Next, let's look at the boots. Again, I'm going with an Arc Affinity for the Invigoration mod, which reduces our melee ability when we pick up an Orb of Power. The energy cost is only 1, so if your mark has low energy, you can still double equip the mod. If you have the energy to spare, you can go with Absolution, which reduces all ability cooldowns when you pick up an Orb of Power. In the fourth column, I went with Font of Wisdom, which gives a significant increase in intellect, improving the recharge rate of our super. Since getting our super up quickly is our goal here, I decided this perk was a good choice, but again, you can go with whatever perk you're most comfortable with. Last up, we have the Titan Mark. Again, it's Arc Affinity for use of the Outreach perk. which reduces melee cooldown when using the Titan class ability. At 2 energy cost, Outreach is a good perk, but the perk Volatile Conduction, which comes from the seasonal artifact, is the best perk here. It grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded, and it's a pretty major boost. Here's the damage without the mod. 274,749 damage. Not bad. And here it is with the mod. 405,216 damage, which is 130,467 more damage than without the mod. At 6 energy cost, you may want to try something different, but I promise Volatile Conduction is 100% worth it. So, going back over it, you'll want at least 4 armor pieces with the arc affinity to use the mods that regenerate your melee. You'll use the mods plus Monte to get your melee back ASAP, then use your melee to charge your super, on top of mods buffing your super damage, a deadly, synergistic build. One last thing, you may be wondering, why not Bad Juju? I mean, its intrinsic perk gives super energy, kills refill the mag, it fires in full auto, and the catalyst makes String of Curses last longer. While it's a great gun and I have a lot of fun with it, have you ever really used Bad Juju? It doesn't do much more than tickle enemies. You may put a half or full mag into them and have to reload. Meanwhile, some blueberry is mopping up your kill, meaning you put in the work but missed out on the benefit, and I assure you that will happen to you 8 out of 10 times. So do yourself a favor and run with Monte. So that's it for my first Destiny 2 build video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, I'd greatly appreciate a like and or a sub. Stay tuned and follow me for more Destiny 2 content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.